Okay, we're back for part 3 here, which is our sponge float, which we have. We're finally to that point. But before we start with the sponge float, come in with our knife and just, scrape that off just to knock it down. It makes a little bit of dust. One of the disadvantages of the sponge float is that if there is a bump in the wall, if there's a bump in the existing texture, what's going to happen is the sponge float is going to take down the mud around it, and it's not going to address that. It's not going to address that little bump in the wall. We come back and we hit those high spots, and we just knock that down with the hard sander or with the sanding block or anything. Real careful not to make any marks, but we knock that down. You have an indentation. Don't try to sand down and sand that out. If there's a little indentation or a little streamer with a bit of something got stuck in the knife and it leaves that streamer when you pull. After we prime, we'll do a little spackling before the paint. So we want to just keep moving. Here's another shot of how to do this. I want to just quickly run this knife along this edge and clear off these clinkers. There's the baseboard. Now we're going up. And just keep moving. Baseboard again. I'm just going to clean up the edges. We see some other imperfections. And over here, same thing. Run it up. This round part is going to clear the edge next to the door jamb without marring the white paint. It's real light, just enough to knock off the brittle clinkers, and just keep working your way around the room. Here's the technique. You dip the sponge in the water and wing it out, get it nice and clean, and then come over to the wall and you lay it flat on there. You want to have it pretty dry. You see water's just coming out of it. And you use a circular motion, kind of follow the water down as you go. One added note, you can see here's the door, and I've blocked off the bottom of the door here. You can use a towel or something or a tarp, but you've got a beautiful home on the other side of this, not the job site you see here. So we want to keep the job site in here, otherwise dust is going to blow in there, and we want to respect the homeowner's space. So make sure to do that. One of the most important things with smooth wall is that good hard side light. And one of the techniques with the sponge is it tends to want to drip, so you kind of keep rotating it to keep the water from falling out of it. And with that hard side light, you can see the ridges that were just feathering out, nice and smooth with no dust. Here's a great benefit of the sponge float. It's cleaning up this edge. All the mud is now getting cleaned up by the edge of this. Here's another tip, is when we get close to the edge here, when you take a look inside, you'll see that it might not be what you'll like to see. It has a little bit of right in the corner, right in the crack, there's a little bit of this variance in surfaces, which we don't want. But don't worry about it now. What we do is, after we prime it, before we paint, we put a little bit of caulking in there, and that will take care of that. That's going to hide that. Another benefit of using the sponge float, which is a wet sand method, is that when we do encounter some bubbles, sometimes you get bubbles. If you're sanding, those don't go away. You just have these bubbles, and you normally, after you prime, you come back with spackle and fill those in. And hey there, folks! Look what I'm doing. This is called an about face. Turns out I am going to use the dusty sanding method. You might ask me why I decided to do this after talking about how great the sponge float is. Because it's going to be faster. This is just going to be faster, so we're going to go with this. Same procedure, hard side light. I did such a nice job of putting this coat on, it's not going to take much sanding. This room is completely masked off, I'm not working in the kitchen or in a children's room or anywhere where folks are chemical sensitive, dust sensitive, so it's going to be dusty, same technique. One of the reasons why this is faster is in order to clear this, how you clear it is just shake it out or damp it a couple times, but now the screen is clear, so that's the technique for this. Horrifically dusty technique, but heck of a lot faster than going over to the bucket here with the sponge float to clear that. So it's one of the reasons why we're doing this. It's just going to be faster.